this leads me to my question for you guys. It's when has something like that you were really looking forward to that like had source material beforehand, like led into this other adaptation that like failed to meet your expectations, kind of thing. Like other than Game of Thrones, because like I feel like that almost doesn't count just because the books didn't end. So it didn't really have that source material to like base it on.
I agree. Game of Thrones was great when it had source material.
Exactly.
It was like the best show on TV when it had source material.
It's so hard to say because like honestly, like there's been very few things that I've read or known about before I went in. Obviously, I talked about Black Panther before, but like the Black Panther Marvel Knights run by Christopher Priest, but then also Black Panther Marvel Knights animated series were like two of my favorite things in all of comic book history. And I felt like the movie did them justice. Like they weren't one-to-one adaptations, but there were similarities and like characters that you recognize or like were, you know, represented in different ways that I thought was like perfect. I can't remember going into something and being like, wow, they really screwed that up. There's been things where I'm like, I wish they hadn't have done that. Like say something like Logan, right? You know, we sort of get told that it's going to be like an old man Logan, and it very much was. It was excellent fucking film, but it wasn't old man Logan. So I was a little bit disappointed. I guess it's wrong to say I was disappointed by that movie because I wasn't in the slightest, but I just wish there was also an old man Logan, maybe like an animated movie or something. But yeah, I don't know. I'll try to think of something.
For me, so Aragon came out when I was in elementary, I think. I had read the book. I think at that point, the third book was either being released or had just been released. And I had read everything that had been up and out until then. And like I still vividly remember like the day that I was supposed to go to the theater and I got sick and I couldn't go with my cousin. And then like I waited till it came out on video on demand and I watched it. And it was like the first movie that I hated in my life because I was a kid until that point. So like every movie was, you know, cool. And then this was the first time when I was like, I watched every single moment that happened in the movie. I was like, that's not like in the books. This is awful. Like, why did they do this? This is not the book. Like, this is not the book that I read. What is this? So that was just, I don't have one thing that I remember from that movie that I was like, yes, this is how I imagined it while reading the book, except for maybe how the dragon looked. Like the CGI was pretty good.
Okay.
At least to my elementary school mind back then.
That's fair.
And then the second one that I had read that a movie came out was the Percy Jackson movie. I don't know if you guys read that series. I read it in like elementary, junior high. One of those like YA fantasy novels based on Greek mythology. It was pretty good. It was like an enjoyable book series. I think like 6 books. Again, the movie just like did not care about the source material. And then there was another one that I didn't watch because I knew just from watching the trailer that it was going to be utter garbage. It was Artemis Fowl. That was a book that I read again, like in elementary, I think. And I saw the trailer and I was like, that's not even like, that doesn't even begin to feel like how the book felt. So I'm not even going to waste my time with it. And guess what? It was like a 7% on Rotten Tomatoes or something like that. Like it was awful. It's like one of the worst movies of all time. Just terrible movie.
Yeah, that was like early 2020, right?
Yeah,
it came out. I think it was one of the first Disney Plus films to come out on Disney
direct to Disney Plus.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So the obvious one I missed is The Hobbit. Fucking hell.
Yeah.
That was massively disappointing. But you know what's the thing is like it wasn't immediately after the first film. I was like, man, I'm in.
Yeah,
and then it was off a cliff.
It was the second movie for me that was it was that female elf character and like that whole sequence that was annoying, and then the river one, when they escaped like down the river in the barrels. I was like,
what's her name, that woman,
actress?
No, the actress is like Elizabeth Banks, I think, but I can't remember what her character is, but not even like, she honestly was like she's a great actress. She acts fine in the movies. It's just the character's awful.
Mhm.
Like I don't. It made no sense. There's no. I don't know what the fuck they were thinking, but while you were speaking, I was sort of reminded of video game movies, which have all been bad. Every single one.
Oh, yes.
So any one of those, one that was massively disappointing to me, that honestly take this with a grain of salt because I haven't seen it because I heard it was so bad that I didn't bother seeing it because I knew I would be upset. Was Assassin's Creed? With Michael
I didn't see
Fassbender.
it.
I just heard, I think it had a 17% on Rotten Tomatoes when I was like, should I see this movie? And then I was like, no, I'll just keep my love of Assassin's Creed tucked in 2009 where it belongs. And Warcraft wasn't great. It was fine though.
Oh yeah. I
See,
forgot
that
about
was
that
one of
one.
those like C+ movies, you know?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. Just so average.
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
yeah.
There was nothing that you like stuck with the performances, and I wanted to like it because I mean World of Warcraft is cool, and I like Travis Fimmel, I think, like the main
From
character
Vikings, right?
from Vikings. Yeah, he was so good in Vikings, and I wanted to like this movie, but it just was not it.
Yeah.
The Hitman movies were all not that great. I don't know if you guys have seen those or played
No.
the games.
No.
They're,
I've seen someone play the game, but I've never actually watched one of those movies.
Yeah, not great. It's not a terrible
yeah.
adaptation. The Witcher was pretty good. The Witcher was pretty good, actually. I did not dislike anything from The Witcher, really.
So do you define that as a video game adaptation or as a book adaptation?
That was a book adaptation.
Okay.
Because it directly adapted the first two books.
Okay.
Like it directly adapted the short stories in the first two books. But it also had problems. I feel like Netflix can't be trusted. Like just in general.
Interesting.
Having seen The Wheel of Time, I think Amazon might be okay. But
see, for me, like I understand. Sorry, go back to like Lucas thing, but
no, that's okay.
I understand why some Netflix series are mediocre or substandard.
Mm-hmm.
I get it because like they're pumping them out at such a rate that's all you don't have time to make things great.
Yeah.
But also there's so little pressure because they're putting hundreds of things out each year.
Mm-hmm.
That this series, like you let this writer and this directors and this team have creative freedom. There's no way these things should be turning out poorly.
Mm-hmm.
Like you're able to take risks. It's a Netflix series. No one fucking cares.
Yeah.
Like there's 18 other ones coming out in the next few months. Like
mm-hmm.
if this one flops, like they're going to be okay. But it's weird to me that they don't take risks with those. But I would even say that Amazon, I don't know if I've watched too many of the original series, but the ones I've seen thus far, like I've really enjoyed Invincible. It's a great adaptation.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I shouldn't say adaptation. It was very enjoyable to watch. I haven't read the originals, so I can't say it's an adaptation. But
it is an adaptation. It's not like an Amazon original.
Yeah, and The Boys was great as well. So yeah, I feel like Amazon has swung less, so they've missed less. But I don't know if Netflix can't be trusted. I don't know if I'd say that just yet, but it definitely like it's less like, oh, it's getting a Netflix series. I'm not like, oh, it's gonna be great.
It just there's something about the term Netflix series that just screams it could be very average.
Yeah,
you know, like when you just hear it's like a Netflix original, like
yeah,
that's like, what's a good Netflix original?
Stranger Things.
Yeah,
it's true.
But like even that, like by season 3, it was kind of like, okay,
yeah, milking it kind of thing.
Yeah.
When they announced that they're doing this newer season, I was
are they on
like,
4?
Oh, really?
Is like 4 is coming out now? Season 4 is supposed to come out.
4 is coming out.
Yeah. So like, they did the same thing where like they killed dude and then he's in the trailer. Like, what's his face? Like the old dude.
Don't tell. I haven't finished. Oh, no.
I mean, spoilers. Shit.
One more I forgot. I was just looking at my books to the left of me. Spiderweb Chronicles, massively disappointing. But I have heard that they are making a new adaptation. I wonder if it's on Netflix. I think it might be, or
It'll
no, I
be
think it was on Disney Plus.
Disney Plus. Yeah.
So that's
Same with
exciting.
the Percy Jackson.
Oh, they're getting remade
Percy
as
Jackson's
well?
getting a TV series as well.
Wow.
Right, I did see that Percy
Yeah.
Jackson, and the writer is included in the creative process. And you see another one, Avatar is on Netflix, and the creative team that made the Avatar left. They're like, we can't work with Netflix. Netflix can't be trusted. They cannot be trusted. Like
I can't say you're wrong.
even the showrunner of The Witcher, she had never read the books. Like,
Oh damn.
you know, like they don't. I feel like, yeah, no, Netflix can't be trusted. I stand by that.
Yeah.
We'll see this
Okay.
Witcher season 2, but
Yeah. See, but that's the thing is I don't have any reverence for the source material of The Witcher. Like I know it's like highly regarded. I know people love the game. I've neither read the series nor played the game.
Yeah.
So I just went into like, this is a really sweet fantasy series.
yeah,
Which is the same way I went into Wheel of Time, and I'm really enjoying it. But fucking anytime I post something on our page about Wheel of Time, I fucking comments blow up, or I get a direct message being like, fucking they took our jobs. Every time.
Damn.
Yeah. So it's like, I'm like, man, that sucks. I think it's really good. You know? Wait, I wanted to ask, sorry, Cam.
Yeah, no worries.
Go back to you the second here. Was there ever a time where you watched something and somebody told you, no, the source material is much better, or they fucked it up, but you really enjoyed it? Have you ever experienced that same thing?
Yeah, with The Hobbit, actually.
No, get out.
Yeah. I've not read The Lord of the Rings or The Hobbit or anything like that. And I went into The Hobbit blind, and I had a really good time with most of it. I totally
Even the
agree
third
that
movie?
the third movie, which one was that one?
I mean, if you
Oh, the
haven't,
Battle-
if you
Battle of
haven't
Five
read it, that
Armies.
was probably the funnest one of all. Like,
Yeah, that's probably true. Yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, when
Fucking hell.
Luca was saying like the river scene was trash, I was like, oh man, I
oh,
like
that was
the
a
river
good
scene.
time.
Oh no.
No, but I absolutely get it. I also like completely understand that they did not need to make it a 3 or a trilogy as well. Like I see it for what it was, but I also see it for how like y'all see it, like just like, oh, this is kind of a bastardization of something that I grew up with. So like I completely get that, but I still had a good time.
But what's messed up is Peter Jackson made that. Like,
it's complicated.
no,
Yeah,
I know
I was
it's
gonna
the
say, that's
studio.
real
You can
tough.
see the studio's hands in it, but
Yeah, what about you, Luca?
where I've like somebody's been like, yeah, the source material was better, but I actually enjoyed the movie itself.
Right.
Honestly, I don't know that that's ever happened. I mean, like the Wheel of Time, I'm loving the show. Like I'm really excited for the show. I've seen people be like, oh, like this was changed. I mean, I don't care because I haven't read it.
Exactly.
You know, like, and that's the thing though. Like that's with The Witcher too. It's like you haven't read, you haven't played the games, you don't care. It's like it's just a good show. Like you take it at face value, and like maybe that's a better way to take it. But then it's like, who did you make it for?
Right. Yeah.
Like,
Did you adapt this because you thought this was a property that could appeal to a lot of people, or did you look at this audience and say this would be a successful audience to market a show towards? Like it's a weird, like, but I guess like you could say the same thing with Game of Thrones. Like, did you make it for the book fans, or did you make it because you knew the story was good and a lot of people would gravitate towards it on screen? And it's hard to know.
Yeah.
You know. One I'll throw is Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. I fucking adore that movie. And then, like, you know, when it was like 10 years later, right, when it was like on lists of the worst adaptations ever. And I'm like, wait, what?
I've seen that. Yeah, it's a good one. I love that movie too. And I haven't read the book. And I have the book.
Yeah,
I bought the book, never read it.
Me too.
I read the first book. I loved it, but I loved it because I loved the movie, and I like contextualized everything
right
through that. Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Well,
Good conversation. Oh yeah. No, yeah. Hawkeye. I mean, I did just before recording this, I did watch the third episode. It's getting better. They've introduced a really dope character, Echo, who they've already announced is getting her own spin-off series, and she is a
Luca. Shaking his head.
No, I get it, but honestly, I think that's gonna be pretty good. She is a deaf indigenous amputee actress, and she is fantastic in it. Like, she is very good, and she has some ties with some big Marvel names as well. It's seeming like
cool
in the show. Yeah, and it'll be interesting, I think.
Yeah, I'm excited to see that. I wanted to say, like, the spin-offs, just as you said that, Cam, I was thinking, like, maybe, I guess, I won't speak for you, Luca, but maybe the thing about Marvel is that because there's so much of it, it feels like you need to consume it all if you want to be up to date. And like you were saying, some of it is, substandard, that it feels like consuming it all might be a burden at sometimes. Like, for me, I went into Hawk, or what was it called? Falcon and Winter Soldier.
Yeah.
Cam, you know how I feel about this. I was going off in a group chat the other day. I wanted to love it so much because I thought it was, like, in the same vein of Black Panther, important to me. I think some of the messages they were trying to tell or trying to get across were really important ones and ones I agreed with, but I just couldn't get past how terrible I thought the acting was and how much of a mess I thought the script was. But, like, I watched it all. I had these feelings after the first episode and was like, fuck, like, is this going to get better? And it didn't.
Yeah.
But I had to consume it because I need to know,
Absolutely.
For the next one, it's like watching Iron Man 2. It's like, I don't want to, but, like, if I'm doing the Marvel marathon, I have to.
Yeah, it's in there.
I think maybe the lesson to take away is that Marvel is like this umbrella thing now. It's become so big that maybe you just pick and choose.
Oh yeah,
that,
it's definitely becoming a chore. Like, I completely get that. Like, I have that superhero fatigue, like, constantly, but it's like, oh, if I don't watch this, I'm going to be out of the loop of, like, what everyone is talking about, kind of thing. So,
spoiler alert, guys, you're not out of the loop. They're super predictable movies. You can just watch the next one. They'll explain it. Like, they'll tell you what happened. I didn't watch Captain Marvel. I didn't watch Black Widow. I didn't watch Civil War, I think. I didn't watch...
Oh, damn. Civil War.
I haven't seen any of the Marvel TV shows.
Well, do you feel like maybe then, like, some of your appreciation to, like, those ensemble movies is lost because, like, you're like, oh, Spider-Man showed up, whatever?
No, I don't. Well, I mean, like, I've seen all the Iron Mans, Thors, the Hulks, the Spider-Mans, all the Captain Americas. What else is there? Like, of the main Marvel movies, I haven't seen Captain Marvel, which has nothing to do with the rest of the story. I haven't seen Black Widow, which is a prequel, and that's it, I think.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I watched Civil War, but not before all of them. But, like, the Avengers, like, I loved the Avengers, but that was, like, the first time they did that, and I was like, wow, it's like all of them in the same movie. And it's like, I don't get that feeling anymore. It's like, okay, they're all in each other's movies now. Like, they're all in all the movies.
I get what you're saying, but I totally had that feeling watching Endgame. Like, that last battle.
Sure, the last battle was, like, crazy cool. That was very, very cool. But if that's what we're building towards every 7 years, like, I'm not very happy that that's what we're getting all the time.
Yeah, I totally agree. That's even with all the rumors and speculation of, like, this next Spider-Man movie. I'm like,
oh yeah, I have, like, zero interest. I'll watch it, but,
like, yeah, it just feels like it's going to be a lot. And it's not going to appease anyone.
It's funny. I saw a thing being like, hey, remember the last time they tried to, like, jam a bunch of, like, villains into a Spider-Man movie, like Spider-Man 3?
Amazing Spider-Man 2, Spider-Man 3. It never ends well. I think this one they have, because of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, I think they have more.
Oh, and dude, the whole setup, like, I can't. It's like, why is there a multiverse now? Because Peter Parker didn't want, like, why would he even agree to, like, cast that spell just because it's like, oh, can we like not have people know that I'm Spider-Man? Like, that's it. That's the reason.
No, you gotta watch Loki, man.
Yeah,
You
man.
gotta. It's actually okay. So I'm gonna
Great
tackle
segue. No, absolutely.
So I'm gonna clear up sort of alleviate some of this tension here with my segment, which is going to be about Marvel.
Whoa.
But specifically, I want to talk about Loki, not just